Zuhdi Jasser, of course, the American Islamic Forum for Democracy president. And you know, Zuhdi, we've talked about this in the past, as evil and as horrific as Assad is. We've learned in the case of Libya, certainly in the case of Iraq toppling Saddam Hussein, that what you get afterwards is just bedlam, pandemonium, civil war, craziness. And certainly that's the case with Libya. I'm wondering if that's the fear we have about regime change, built on those experiences. So we're not eager to topple Assad, despite the different messages we got out of the administration this weekend.
Well, Neil, as the heart-wrenching narrative from Bassam and our family, my family is in Aleppo and some in Damascus, they've been just bombarded and massacred for years now. And it's not about America regime changing, but it's about the Syrian people. It's about having a strategy. And while I was definitely in favor of no-fly zones and helping them defeat the Assadist regime in 2011, 2012, now since then, I think we need a more strategic approach, which is we make Iran and Russia remove their influence so that it truly turns into a civil war. Second, remove the Saudi, Qatari, and Turkish radicalization of the Islamists, since they're only helping the radicals. And then third, provide safe havens in areas in which moderates can start to rebuild themselves. If we knock out Assad right now, as much as we'd be cheering the end of that, they'll just replace it with another Alawite radical Shia jihadist, rather than having a process of revolution, which the Arab awakening allowed us to see.
You know the region so well, Zuhdi, but I worry about, be careful what you wish for. You topple this guy. Democratically elected governments and their sustainability are extremely few and extremely far between in this region. What makes us think that getting rid of Assad will ease that, especially when the Russians clearly like having him around, clearly like the ability that he provides to provide them a port and allow them to expand their military influence in that region?
Well, any time in history, Neil, that we've seen, whether it's Hitler, Stalin, Pol Pot, we never really thought, well, what's going to follow? We said the moral righteousness of the world is to end that genocide. The moral righteousness is to help the revolutions
no
within.
doubt, but that was the moral righteousness in getting rid of Gaddafi, and well argued in Libya, right?
Oh, yes, and the problem with that is the Obama administration had no follow-through. They had no process in which to help civil society in Libya defeat the two evils of theocratic Islamism and secular fascist Arab dictatorship. Both need to be defeated. If we simply say we're going to alternate between one or the other, you're going to continue this cycle of the 20th century policy, which was the enemy is our friend. And that doesn't work. We need to start a process that capitalizes on the Arab awakening, that was a revolution of people that wanted freedom, that need the free world to weigh in, not with boots on the ground, but to weigh in with civil society development.
But are we prepared, do you think, Zuhdi, in this country for the possibility that with the Spring Uprising, for example, going back to Egypt, that the government that takes over might not be that friendly to our interests? Now, that was with the Muslim Brotherhood, and of course there was a coup that followed that. My only point in saying this is that it is the great unknown, and would we, and do you think that we as a country would be comfortable in leaving it in the hands of people who ultimately might form a government that would be even hostile to the United States?
Well, I mean, if you look in Iran, for example, the Shah, as much of a dictator as he was, we were left with an Iranian revolution that's been horrible. But to this day, the Islamists of the last 30 years in Iran would never re-elect an Islamic theocracy. So at some point you have to allow them that organic evolution against the processes of Islamization, if you will, so that they can defeat it. The revolution that got El-Sisi back was 10 million people that came to defeat the Brotherhood. So 1 year of the Brotherhood running government in Egypt did more to destroy the Islamist ideas than 60 years of Nasser, Sadat, and Mubarak. So the natural organic revolutions, I think, if our government, if the Trump administration can present it in a way that it's not like Bush said, mission accomplished by just getting rid of Saddam, but rather mission accomplished over the next generation of transformation peacefully and through civil society democratically.
Zuhdi, very good seeing you. Thank you very, very much.